Welcome to the 31st year of the annual Air Force Association Brent Scowcroft Award Ceremony. I am Scott Warren, President of Northern Utah AFA Chapter 235, and your host for today's proceedings. The Northern Utah chapter of the AFA established the Brent Scowcroft Awards Banquet in 1989. The event is named for Lieutenant General Brent Scowcroft, who led the Scowcroft Commission to map the future of America's ICBMs. Originally, the event honored the top performers of the ICBM arena only. Since then, however, the Scowcroft Awards has expanded to include the top acquisition, sustainment, maintenance, logistics, supply chain, and munition performers. Bottom line, the Brent Scowcroft Awards continue our tradition of honoring the best of the best. Sadly, Lieutenant General Scowcroft passed away on August 6th of this year at the age of 95. Lieutenant General Brent Scowcroft was a native of Ogden, Utah. He was a graduate of the U.S. Military Academy, being commissioned as a second lieutenant in 1947. He graduated from pilot training and flew P-51 Mustangs until an unfortunate accident ended his flying career. His new military path led him to become military assistant to President Nixon in 1972. Subsequently, he served in the national security arena, serving on the White House staffs of President Ford, President Reagan, President George H.W. Bush, and President George W. Bush. President George H.W. Bush presented him with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1991, and in 1993 he was made an honorary Knight of Commander of the Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth. While we honor General Scowcroft for his work developing the architecture for the U.S. nuclear force, he also had a very successful career as a businessman, being the founder or senior partner in several consulting businesses. Today we honor the nominees and recipients of the Scowcroft Award that recognizes Air Force leaders who, like General Scowcroft, are winners all and are the best of the best in their specialties.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Adam Rector, the Deputy Maintenance Group Commander for the 91st Maintenance Group, and on behalf of the men and women of the 91st Maintenance Group, I'd like to pass along our greetings. President Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick. You will go far." And the Rough Riders here at Minot Air Force Base ensure that big stick is always ready, with our exceptional maintainers and logisticians. Through our impeccable maintenance discipline, strict accountability, and established ownership, we ensure that every maintenance action is another job
done right.
Bully!
Bully!
Hello, I'm Colonel Ken Benton, Commander of the 309th Missile Maintenance Group at Hill Air Force Base, Utah. And we provide world-class depot maintenance for two legs of the nuclear triad, as we support both the Minuteman III and the Alchem weapon system. This year I am proud to nominate two of our superstars for the Brent Scowcroft Award. Mr. Paul Sears, the Flight Chief in the 582nd Missile Maintenance Squadron, and Mr. Dale Kimball, who works in the 583rd as part of our team at Minot Air Force Base. Both of these airmen have provided outstanding support to the group as well as the nuclear enterprise, and I wish them both the best of luck in the competition.
The 2020 Scowcroft Awards Banquet was originally scheduled for March 19th. The leaders of AFA Chapter 235 had done all of the planning to support a gathering of over 360 people to honor our nominees and selectees at the Ogden Eccles Center. Unfortunately, COVID-19 hit with a vengeance, and we were forced to reschedule the event for August 19th. While our planning once again proved too optimistic, our AFA chapter was not going to let an organism so small that it cannot be seen to keep us from watching and honoring our 2020 Scowcroft Award nominees and selectees in 2020. So after consultation with leadership in the ICBM, air dominance, and munitions communities, we chose to hold the virtual Scowcroft Awards that you are watching now. We thank our partners on Hill Air Force Base for working with us to ensure that this ceremony could happen this year. this time, I would like to acknowledge our state, national, and local Air Force Association leadership. AFA National Secretary is Mr. Rick Hartle. The National Director West Area Air Force Association is Mr. Bob George, and our Utah AFA State President is Francis Bradshaw. Just like many other organizations, your Air Force Association cannot operate without the support of our sponsors. This year, I wanted to recognize our banquet contributors: BAE Systems, Northrop Grumman, Jacobs, Systems Planning and Analysis, Booz Allen Hamilton, Strategic Defense Coalition, Keomac, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics Mission Systems, Aerojet Rocketdyne, Mantech, and SAIC.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Naomi Franchetti from the 649th Munitions Squadron, and our mission is to rapidly deploy combat-ready munitions to sustain global operations. We also support the nuclear enterprise by being the sole providers of the Mark 21 rear covers and spin gas generators. The 649 Muns is proud to introduce our nominee, Tech Sergeant Kat Sire.
Hi, I'm Colonel Quigley, the Director of the Minuteman III Systems Directorate here at Hill Air Force Base, part of the Air Force Nuke Weapons Center. Our mission in Minuteman III is to ensure that over 400 missiles are modernized and sustained to be safe, secure, and effective from now until deactivation. Our nominees for the Scowcroft Awards include Tech Sergeant Babbert, Senior Master Sergeant Dorsey, and then our team, our field support team, led by Mr. George Henney, which shows our demonstrations to the 3 operational missile wings that we are fast and responsive to their needs up at Malmstrom, F.E. Warren, and Minot Air Force bases. Go Team Minuteman III.
Finally, a grand welcome to our nominees and guests, and all the colonels, directors, chiefs, and patriotic Americans watching who have taken their time to honor these fine men and women. And to the supervisors who took the time to recognize their people and nominate them for their respective communities in ICBMs, aerospace dominance, supply chain, and munitions.
Hello, my name is Bob George, and it was my distinct honor to work with my fellow Chapter 235 member, Jim Adlin, to manage the awards competition this year. The Scowcroft nominations and awards fall into 2 categories: individual awards and team awards. All nominees display exemplary character. Individual nominees are judged by the following: the degree of job difficulty they perform, the importance of that job to the success of their units, individual job performance, leadership, education, and self-improvement efforts, and off-duty contributions to the base and community. Team nominations are judged with an emphasis on the contribution of the team to the overall Air Force mission. Scowcroft nominations are solicited from the units within the Air Force Materiel Command and Air Force Global Strike Command. Nominations are presented each year to AFA Chapter 235 members who complete the daunting task of selecting the winners. I would now like to thank those chapter members who took their time to help with the difficult task of selecting winners. Mr. Dan Gomez, Mr. Mike Sweetland, Ms. Nova Dubovic, Mr. Jim Adland, and Ms. Rebecca Delgado. Thanks for all your help.
In addition to those just mentioned, I would like to take a moment to recognize other individuals who have worked so very hard to make this virtual event successful. Many thanks to Lieutenant John Buckley. He works out of the Minuteman III program office and was essential in coordinating all the activities across the organizations involved at Hill Air Force Base. I'd also like to thank Tech Sergeant Guy McCutcheon, who was responsible for putting this video together. Guy works at the 576 Flight Test Squadron at Vandenberg Air Force Base, and we would like to say our appreciation to his leadership for allowing him to help us out with producing this video. I'd also like to thank the supervisors who took the time to ensure their people were recognized for their hard work and dedication. And a big thank you as well to all the unit wards and protocol staff involved. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now our pleasure to introduce to you the 2020 Scowcroft nominees, the very best of the best in the IBCBM, space, missile, aerospace dominance, munitions, supply chain communities. Each nominee will be presented with an engraved award in recognition of being a nominee by their local leadership.
This is Colonel Omar Colbert from the 576th Flight Test Squadron. We are tasked with verifying and validating the accuracy and reliability of the Minuteman III ICBM. Our team's mission is foundational to the command's ability to provide ready forces to the warfighter, extended deterrence to our allies, and put our adversaries on notice that we still have the alert. Key to it all, Senior Master Sergeant Ryan Stocker.
Acknowledge, clear launch.
The ICBM Depot Maintenance Individual category recognizes the work of those performing depot-level repairs of ICBMs at Hill Air Force Base and the units. The nominees for the Brent Scowcroft Award for the ICBM Depot Maintenance Individuals are Richard D. Kimball, Industrial Production Manager, 583rd Missile Maintenance Squadron. Robert P. Sears, Flight Chief, 582nd Missile Maintenance Squadron. Ladies and gentlemen, our ICBM Depot Maintenance Individual nominees.
Hi, I'm Colonel Peter Benetti from the 90th Missile Wing here at F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming. Our primary mission here is to uphold the strategic deterrence of the United States with 1/3 of the on-alert ICBM forces every single day. And I just wanted to congratulate Master Sergeant Megan Dunleavy on the Brent Scowcroft Award nomination.
The ICBM Maintenance and Logistics Individual category recognizes the work of those in the field, the best of the maintainers. The nominees for the 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for ICBM Maintenance and Logistics are Technical Sergeant Samuel D. Savoy, Logistics Lead, 20th Air Force, Sustainment Team, 20th Air Force A4, F.E. Warren Air Force Base. Master Sergeant Megan L. Dunleavy, Chief Inspector, 90th Maintenance Group, F.E. Warren Air Force Base. Master Sergeant David A. Boley, Lead Production Superintendent, 791st Maintenance Squadron, Minot Air Force Base. Senior Master Sergeant Ryan Stocker, Generation Flight Superintendent, 576th Flight Test Squadron, Vandenberg Air Force Base. Ladies and gentlemen, the ICBM Maintenance and Logistics Individual nominees.
Hi, I'm Colonel Brian Henson, and I'm the Director for the Aerospace Dominance Enabler Division. Our job is to enable our warfighters to be battle-tested and battle-ready. We do that with radars, like the one behind me, which keeps eyes on our airspace. We also manage mobile command and control systems, handheld radios for combat search and rescue, aircraft pods, and threat systems for training our aircrew. We're the Aerospace Dominance Enablers, we're battle-tested, and we're battle-ready.
The ICBM Acquisition and Sustainment Individual category acknowledges outstanding efforts by program managers, engineers, and technicians at the program level. The nominees for the 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for ICBM Acquisition and Sustainment by an individual are David C. Hamblin, Senior Engineer, Weapons System Command and Control, Ground-Based Strategic Deterrent System. Senior Master Sergeant Dion M. Dorsey, Superintendent, Minuteman III Field Support Section. Technical Sergeant Kyle M. Babbitt, Non-Commissioned Officer in Charge, Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Electrical Branch. Ladies and gentlemen, the ICBM Acquisition and Sustainment Individual nominees.
Booster flight instrumentation. Burn on system ignition. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff.
The ICBM Acquisition and Sustainment Team category highlights outstanding efforts by a team in the acquisition and sustainment of an ICBM-related program. The nominees for the 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for ICBM Acquisition and Sustainment by a team are Minuteman III Field Support Section Team Lead, George M. Henney. Mark 21A Reentry Vehicle Program Team, Team Lead, Lieutenant Colonel Derek Wolf. Ladies and gentlemen, the ICBM Acquisition and Sustainment Team nominees.
Keomac is proud to help sponsor the 2020 Scowcroft Awards. Congratulations to all of the outstanding nominees and, of course, the winners. Whether it's excellence in ICBM maintenance and sustainment, future GBSD development, or supporting ranges and other space and C3I missions, thank you all for your great contributions. The men and women of Keomac are here to help you and help assure your success. Congratulations.
The Aerospace Dominance Enabler Acquisition and Sustainment individual category highlights outstanding efforts in the acquisition and sustainment for aerospace-related programs. The nominees for the 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award, Aerospace Dominance Enabler Acquisition and Sustainment by an individual are Jeremy Larson, Team Lead, Range Threat Systems Branch; Lindsay Oliver, Logistics Management Specialist, Personnel Recovery Command and Control System; Stephen R. Watry, Logistics Manager, P5 Combat Training System, Foreign Military Sales Program. Ladies and gentlemen, Aerospace Dominance Enabler Acquisition and Sustainment individual nominees. The category of Aerospace Dominance Enabler by a team are Unmanned Threat Emitter Team, Team Lead, Antonio Gonzalez; Control and Reporting Center Section, Team Lead, Paul Cartier; P5 Combat Training System, Foreign Military Sales, Team Lead, Glenn Rutherford. Ladies and gentlemen, the Aerospace Dominance Enabler Team nominees. The Supply Chain Management individual category signifies the work in the arena of acquisition and sustainment supporting supply chain activities and platforms managed under the 748th Supply Chain Management Group. This award goes to the individual whose efforts were critical in keeping the combat forces and platforms supplied with necessary parts to keep our warfighting capability viable. The nominees for the 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for Supply Chain Management, Acquisition, and Sustainment individuals are Kip Mellendorf, Logistics Management Specialist, 414th Supply Chain Management Squadron; Tracy Jones, Lead Production Management Specialist, 414th Supply Chain Management Squadron. Ladies and gentlemen, the Supply Chain Management individual nominees.
The 748th Supply Chain Management Group has over 180 people solely focused on providing parts that keep the nation's strategic deterrent on alert 24/7, 365. We are responsible for 100% positive inventory control on all nuclear weapons related material managed by the Air Force Sustainment Center, as well as the planning and execution of the supply chain sustaining the ICBM. We're committed to get you the parts you need to ensure the readiness of our nation's nuclear arsenal, support national defense objectives, and enable war planning on a global scale.
The category of the Supply Chain Management, Acquisition, and Sustainment Team of the Year nominees are 414th SCMS ICBM Security Team, Team Lead, Debbie Pitts; 414th SCMS Supply Chain Art of the Possible Team, Team Lead, Levi Shepard. Ladies and gentlemen, the Supply Chain Acquisition and Sustainment Team nominees.
I want to give a big GBSD shout out to all the Scowcroft Award nominees this year. We're so grateful for everything you all do for the weapon system. Congratulations. It's such a big deal to be nominated for this award. And we at GBSD are super excited to bring the future faster for the ICBM, the backbone of our whole triad. So congrats again to all the nominees. We're really proud of you.
Finally, Our munitions individual category signifies work in the operational arena of munitions and stockpile-related activities. In other words, this award goes to an ammo individual whose efforts were critical in keeping combat forces supplied with necessary munitions to deliver bombs on target in the theaters of operation. The nominees for the 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for Munitions Individuals are Technical Sergeant Catherine L. R. Sire, Combat Plans Section Chief, 649th Munitions Squadron, Hill Air Force Base. Ladies and gentlemen, the Munitions, Logistics, and Maintenance nominees.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Stephen Wirt. We are thrilled to have Mr. Wirt speak this year. Mr. Wirt has been associated with the U.S. Air Force for over 37 years. He served as an Air Force officer for almost 25 years, honing his engineering, program management, and leadership skills managing complex acquisition programs. Since 2010, he has been a program executive officer, the main stakeholder responsible for cost, schedule, and performance in a DoD portfolio. Currently, Mr. Wirt leads more than 3,500 airmen, government civilians, and support contractors in the acquisition execution of ACAT, non-ACAT, and technology transition initiatives in the digital portfolio. As PEO Digital, he is deeply involved in modernizing our Air Force, transforming and developing capabilities in the digital domain at speeds never seen before. If you were able to spend a full day shadowing Mr. Wirt, you would most likely hear the following buzzwords: Joint All-Domain Command and Control, Agile, DevOps, and Project Kessel Run, Emergent Space Force and Cyber Commands, Artificial Intelligence, Air Force Information Dominance, Vision and Strategy, Cloud Migration, Cybersecurity, Big Data. Behind those buzzwords are lofty and complex issues, and there are no easy answers. But we are comforted in knowing PEO Digital is working extremely hard to find solutions to ensure our Air Force succeeds in the digital age. Please welcome Mr. Steve Wirt, PEO Digital.
Hi, I'm Stephen Wirt, Air Force Program Executive Officer Digital, and I'm very honored to kick off things for the 31st Scowcroft Awards event. As fitting for the current times, I'm recording this from my home in Plastow, New Hampshire, near Hanscom Air Force Base, Massachusetts. Like several other Air Force PEOs, my directorate has a footprint at Hill Air Force Base with our Aerospace Dominance Enabler Division, led by Colonel Gunny Henson. So I'm aware of the critically important missions there at Ogden Air Logistics Complex, the LCMC organizations, the Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center organizations, and the Utah Test and Training Range. Now, this particular event is intended to recognize the best of the best by highlighting 20-something finalist individuals and teams and presenting awards tonight. How important is the work they're doing? Well, how important is upgrading America's nuclear arsenal, or maintaining comprehensive nuclear deterrence, or modernizing range threat systems so we can adequately train on fifth generation systems. So critically important becomes an understatement. So for all Hill Air Force Base organizations represented here, thank you for what you do and congratulations to the finalists. Now these awards are named in honor of Lieutenant General Brent Scowcroft, who was born in Ogden, Utah and graduated West Point in 1947. He went on to serve as a military assistant to the President, assistant to National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger, Deputy National Security Advisor to Presidents Nixon and Ford, succeeding Alexander Haig, National Security Advisor to President Ford, succeeding Henry Kissinger, National Security Advisor to George H.W. Bush, succeeding Colin Powell, and then Chair of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board for George W. Bush, succeeding Warren Rudman. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1991. So awards named in his honor are more than appropriate. There's a lot of change and uncertainty going on right now. A pandemic, continuing protests, significant changes within our Air Force. There's a tendency to think that we're in a unique time of change. But let's reflect just for a minute on the changes that General Scowcroft experienced firsthand. To start with, his commission transferred almost immediately from the Army to the Air Force with the stand-up of the United States Air Force in 1947. And then shortly after he earned his wings, he was in an aircraft accident that put him in a hospital for 2 years. And over his career, he experienced the resignation of the president he had been the moral assistant for, the Halloween massacre of 1975, the Tiananmen Square massacre, the fall of the Berlin Wall, reunification of Germany, the Persian Gulf War, the collapse of the Soviet Union. And he was actually on an E-4B NAOC at 0846 when the second aircraft struck on 9/11. So this man experienced a vast amount of change and uncertainty, but he took advantage of the opportunities and continued to serve successfully. So that brings us to the changes we're dealing with today and the opportunities that they present. As Lieutenant General B.T. Thompson said at AFA earlier this year, it's 1947 all over again for the United States Space Force. Part of the digital portfolio has historically worked closely with Air Force Space Command, so it's been fascinating to watch the AF Space A staff transitioning to a service S staff. Following the horrible killing of George Floyd, we experienced nationwide protests, but our Air Force leadership leaned forward immediately to encourage conversations about race and take actions to make the Air Force more representative of our nation's population. COVID-19 has forced many of us to rely primarily on telework, but we figured out how to continue the mission, and creativity has exploded as a result. Just a couple examples. We worked closely with the 2-star level of the Qatari Air Force to secure the government of Qatar and Qatar Airways exemptions to get a contractor team into Doha. And the medical group at Hanscom deployed to the contractor's facility to administer COVID testing and turn results in 24 hours. We worked with the government of Australia, the Nels Test and Training Range, and the U.S. Air Force Warfare Center to fly an Australian test article and team directly into Tonopah to keep a program on schedule. And 3 weeks ago, we awarded a $51 million contract to a small business in Guilford, Maine, that is the only U.S.-based supplier of preferred test swabs, not to buy swabs, but to expand their production facility as rapidly as possible. We're learning to accomplish amazing things, and out of this pandemic, we'll be that much more confident, agile, and efficient in our operations. Acquisition and sustainment are in a period of unprecedented change. We have a service acquisition authority executive who dares us to make him nervous, and through Ability Prime is partnering with commercial companies to accelerate the realization of flying cars. Late last year, we thought we had a rather shocking acquisition strategy, including canceling an existing contract with a major prime that took years to put into place, and pivoting to a rapid competitive demonstration. Dr. Roper's response? How can you do it faster? I'll admit, there's so much change right now, it can seem chaotic. The Department of Defense's top priority is Joint All-Domain Command and Control, and we're executing Advanced Battle Management System, or ABMS, as part of that, with no documented requirements, and doing so as a series of experiments. We have emerging software factories like Kessel Run, Kobayashi Maru, and Ski Camp. We're welcoming outside influences through pitch days and new partnerships. With the expanding set of tools like rapid prototyping, mid-tier acquisition authority, and exploiting all parts of the federal acquisition regulation. To quote Dr. Roper, whatever our process has been, it's dead. So we're now in a period of both historic change and crisis. But all of that presents us with opportunity. From exploring new and better ways of doing business, to relating better to each other, regardless of rate. So it's up to us to lead and seize these opportunities. Let me say thanks to the Northern Utah AFA Chapter 235 and their mission to educate, advocate, and support our airmen. And my thanks to the corporate sponsors of this event. Congratulations, finalists, and good luck. That's it for me. Take care, airmen.
The ICBM Depot Level Maintenance Individual 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award winner is Robert P. Sears, Flight Chief, 582nd Missile Maintenance Squadron, 309th Missile Maintenance Group, Ogden Air Logistics Complex, Hill Air Force Base, Utah. Robert Sears led 29 personnel to execute 19,000 production hours and ship 512 N items with a 95% on-time delivery rate. He enabled a 99.9% quality pass rate and exceeded targets for the output by 9.7% and efficiency by 9.2%. Robert Sears' efforts sustained 2 legs of the nuclear triad and allowed Air Force Global Strike Command to maintain a 99% mission-capable rate for 450 launch facilities and a 94.5% rate for 472 air-launched cruise missiles. The winner of the 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for Excellence in ICBM Maintenance and Logistics is Technical Sergeant Samuel D. Savoy, Logistics Lead, 20th Air Force, Sustainment Team, 20th Air Force A4, F.E. Warren Air Force Base, Wyoming. Sergeant Savoy's leadership and weapons system knowledge was instrumental in leading the 20th Air Force Sustainment Team with world-class logistics support, guiding 4 wings and 1.4 thousand personnel in sustaining the nation's $9.9 billion Minuteman III fleet. Additionally, Sergeant Savoy expertly led a 35-member engineering team in the testing of a new launch facility site security system, effectively reclaiming 61,000 security forces guarding hours annually, bolstering our nation's nuclear lethality. Finally, Sergeant Savoy built the first ever standardized Air Force Global Strike Command launch facility and launch control center site inspection checklist, thereby revolutionizing sustainment of the intercontinental ballistic missile infrastructure to 2036.
The Strategic Deterrent Coalition is proud to be a sponsor of the 2020 Scowcroft Awards of the AFA Northern Utah Chapter. Since 2013, SDC has supported maintaining America's nuclear deterrent and serves to inform government leaders and the public of its critical importance. The SDC Board of Directors and Regions congratulate both nominees and recipients. Your resolute service makes the Triad's land-based component never doubted, always feared.
The 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award winner for ICBM Acquisition and Sustainment Individual Excellence is David C. Hamblin, Senior Engineer, Weapons System Command and Control, Ground-Based Strategic Deterrence System, ICBM Systems Directorate, Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center, Hill Air Force Base, Utah. From January 1st to December 31st, 2019, Mr. Hamblin led a 5-person engineering team providing systems engineering leadership for the approximately $3 billion Weapons System Command and Control section. He authored over 50 pages of Weapons System Command and Control requests, strategies, and schedules for the $15 billion engineering and manufacturing development phase. The 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for ICBM Acquisition and Sustainment Excellence for a team is Minuteman III Field Support Section, Team Lead George M. Henney. From January 1st to December 31st, this newly developed section's mission was to deploy an agile and responsive field support capability. Field support acted as the doorway into the Minuteman III System Program Office for the warfighter and mission partners. The team maintained system-level engineering, supply chain, and analytical support to resolve field and depot-level technical problems to include on-site technical support for daily maintenance operations and flight tests at each missile and test wing.
Greetings to the ICBM community. I'm Dave Caldwell in Huntsville, Alabama. I represent a long legacy of men and women from Aerojet Rocketdyne who very proudly have supported the ICBM mission since it began. We provide large solid rocket motor boosters, liquid post-boost systems, and other energetic components. Our support continues today as we provide propulsion expertise to Minuteman III at Hill Air Force Base, and we're excited about the opportunity that GBSD brings. On behalf of Aerojet Rocketdyne, let me say to all Scowcroft Award nominees and awardees, congratulations for your well-deserved recognition, and thank you for all that you do for this critical warfighting mission.
The 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for Excellence in Aerospace Dominance Enabler, Acquisition, and Sustainment by an individual is Stephen R. Watry, Logistics Manager, P5 Combat Training System, Foreign Military Sales Program. Mr. Watry reduced the cost of doing individual repairs for all 6 foreign military sale countries' repair and return contracts by $8,000 a repair, saving approximately $880,000 a year. His leadership on the technical evaluation team for the U.S. Air Force Qatar procurement contract reduced the $47.5 million proposal to $41.2 million, saving the warfighter over $6 million of valuable operational funds. The 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for Outstanding Support in Aerospace Dominance Enabler Acquisition and Sustainment by a Team is Unmanned Threat Emitter Team, Team Lead Antonio Gonzalez. The UMTE IPT team conducted $19.8 million in sustainment acquisition efforts, sustained 35 fielded systems worth over $110 million, supported over 40 combat Air Force squadrons at 5 ranges, and held joint planning with the Army, Navy, DoD, and allied countries for optimizing aircrew training, improving anti-access, aerial denial A2, AD survivability.
General Dynamics Mission Systems congratulates the 2020 Scowcroft Award nominees and winners. We salute your achievements as we work together to protect our nation and allies. General Dynamics is committed to helping our armed forces achieve mission success. When the nation's highest priority messages need to be received, we deliver. We take our commitment seriously, just like the Air Force. Integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. We are committed to serving you and the mission. Congratulations.
The 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for Outstanding Support in Supply Chain Management, Acquisition, and Sustainment by an individual is Tracy Jones, Lead Production Management Specialist, 414th Supply Chain Management Squadron. Mr. Jones ensures fiscal responsibility of taxpayer dollars on 3 different funding types in support of the nuclear enterprise. He executed 23 interdepartmental purchase requests for 6 locations to repair ICBM assets, fought for funding for 13 engineering redesigns to reverse engineering obsolete ICBM components, and directly oversaw $2.7 million in ICBM repair and $30 million in purchases, including the much anticipated acquisition of 32 new guided missile maintenance platforms. He advanced core organizational objectives and enforced regulatory financing for cradle-to-grave management of all parts. The 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for Outstanding Support in Supply Chain Management, Acquisition, and Sustainment by a Team is 414th SCMS ICBM Security Team. Team Lead, Debbie Pitts. This team manages the infamous B-plug, the A-vault, and other security components designed to thwart the adversary. A B-plug failure requires uniformed men and women to camp 24/7 on the silo to protect it until the plug can be repaired. A B-plug went down before a holiday weekend. The security team went into action, accelerating an item through repair and expressed delivery to the wing, effecting a timely repair and allowing the military to return home to their families for the holiday. The security team overcame tremendous hurdles by expediting contracting buys and ramping up a maintenance line in the 309th in record time. Finally, the winner for the 2020 Brent Scowcroft Award for Excellence in Conventional Munitions, Technical Sergeant Catherine L. R. Sire, Combat Plan Section Chief, 649th Munitions Squadron, Hill Air Force Base. Technical Sergeant Sire validates and reports on 33 personnel unit type code taskings and 74 standard air munitions package configurations, enabling rapid munitions support for worldwide combatant commander requirements. In addition, she oversees 43 readiness and contingency training courses, maintains security clearances, and processes all munition area access applications for 227 total force airmen. While serving as the Assistant Section Chief of the Squadron Shipping and Receiving Section, she led 43 airmen within 5 work areas in support of the Air Force's largest munitions shipping and receiving operation, supplying 85% of the DoD's emergency egress shipments worldwide.
We stand on the front line with the brave men and women determined to support national security. We stand where it counts. We're not afraid to make the bold decisions necessary to modernize, secure, and maintain our aerospace capabilities. From F-35 systems engineering and sustainment, to radar systems, to space, we're part of the mission to detect and deter threats to our nation. Here, everything is done with purpose.
Each year, the winners' names are engraved on a plaque that is held by the unit at Hill Air Force Base representing the individual categories. The plaques will be delivered to each unit commander to be displayed in their organization's facility. The ICBM category plaque will be presented to the Director, ICBM Systems Directorate, Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center, Colonel Bartolome. The Air Dominance Enabler category plaque will be presented to the Director, Air Dominance Enabler Division, Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, Colonel Eric Quigley. The Supply Chain category plaque will be presented to the Commander, 748th Supply Chain Management Group, Air Force Sustainment Center, Colonel Mark Tate. The Conventional Munitions category plaque will be presented to the Commander, 649th Munitions Squadron, 75th Air Base Wing, Air Force Sustainment Center, Lieutenant Colonel Naomi Franchetti.
Mr. Wirt, we would like to thank you for your support for this event and the gracious remarks this evening. To show our appreciation, we are proud to present you with the Jack Price Fellowship Memento. In addition, the Northern Utah chapter has donated $500 in your honor to Utah's AFA's Aerospace Foundation. Your Northern Utah chapter continues to be actively involved at the local, state, and national level. This year's chapter recognition with the Aerospace Education Achievement Award reflects the many great things the chapter does to excel and the many projects and events we are involved with, particularly those in the aerospace education. The chapter's focus is comprehensive and reflects the commitment to support active duty members and their civilian counterparts, veterans events, recognition programs, community activities, and the state of Utah. We are especially proud of our work with our other state AFA chapters supporting families during the Christmas season through our partnership with the Snowball Express Foundation and supporting Utah Wounded Airmen, including providing financial support for airmen. Again, AFA's objectives are to educate, advocate, and support our Air Force and aerospace power. We are inviting you to join our ranks. If you are looking for a chance to get involved, we ask you to please consider joining and reach out and let us know if you're interested. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the 2020 Brent Scowcroft Virtual Award Ceremony. We look forward to seeing you at next year's event, hopefully in person at the banquet. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe.